Hey again everyone, I wanted to show you all my braid out, but of course I have braids in right now. So I'll be doing a braid out tomorrow and I want to show you the results. But before I show you the results, I just want to tell you a little bit about, I guess, how I did my hair and how I've maintained it for these past couple days that I've had the braids in. So basically it's simple 4-braided style. I was actually going to wear my hair like this just to go to bed because I had washed my hair a couple days ago, so I was going to go to bed like that. But then it didn't look as bad as I thought it would, so I just decided to leave it and wear it outside like this. And then about 2 days in, I decided that I did want to braid out, even though it's very hot outside and it probably won't last. I decided that I wanted to wear a braid out. So in order to keep the hair moist and nice for a braid out, there are some things that I like to recommend, or some things that I think will give you an optimal braid out. First and foremost is to have hair that has been detangled before you even braided the hair. So the hair needs to be detangled before you braid it in order to wear a proper braid out that's bouncy and easier to manage. Also, I think braid outs work best when the hair is clean, because when the hair is clean, it takes form of the braid better. It takes form of that shape better than it would if the hair was heavier and maybe full of product. So clean hair is important. It's very important for you to have moisturized hair, because if your hair is not moisturized, then as you're taking the braid out, then you may run across some snags, and if you have to pull those snags out, you've already created a braid out that's going to be a little bit fuzzy looking. So you want to keep the hair moisturized so that it's very easy to remove the braid. Also, it's important to have tight braids. These braids aren't necessarily tight. I think it's going to be more of a wavy pattern than it is going to be like a more exact kind of braid pattern, but I'm okay with that. But the tighter the braid, the better form that you're going to get for your braid out. So the more of a Z shape you're going to get for your braid out if you braid the hair tighter. The looser you do it, the more of an S shape you're going to get. So I hope that made sense. And the last thing I would recommend for a braid out, and this is not necessary at all, but the very back of the hair. So basically, once these braids are removed, the very back of the hair should be sectioned off and kind of twisted up out of the way so that it's not hanging on your shirt. I don't know about anyone else, but I experience a lot of split ends in the back of my hair, and they're recurrent. Like, there's nothing I can do, or I feel like there's nothing that I can do to really get rid of it. So I'm trying that. So I'm trying my best to keep hair that is in this area off the back of my clothing so it will stop splitting and breaking, because that's what's happening to the hair in the back of my head. I mean, it's not drastic, but I just don't like to know that I have an accumulation of split ends in one area, because that means that I'm doing something wrong. So I just want to correct it. That kind of goes into listening to your hair, finding a problem and then trying to correct it. So yeah, I think it's good to keep that part off of your hair, especially if you have longer hair. If your hair is shorter and it just hangs on the neck or barely hangs on the shirt, then it's kind of not necessary for you to tie up that section of hair off. But beware, as your hair grows longer, that the rubbing is very real and you'll experience breakage and splits like I am. So I just want to give you those tips. Another tip I want to give you guys is to braid the hair in a fashion that's conscious of how the hair is going to fall. So basically, when you part your hair, don't do crazy parts where some of the braids are coming up and some of them are coming to the side and some of them are, you know, like, don't do the braids crazy if you're not going to do cornrows like I have right now. Try not to do them crazy looking. Do it in an organized fashion and be very mindful of how the hair is going to fall the next morning if you braid it in a particular direction. So you wouldn't want to braid the hair forward, because unless you were going for a bangs look or something like that, you wouldn't want to braid the hair forward, because in the morning when you try to take that hair and place it to the side, it's probably just going to go back this way. So try to be mindful of how you braid the hair and how it's going to fall with a particular braided style or pattern. Also, I feel like when you do braid outs, that it's probably better to have a box braid in versus a cornrow like I have in, because you have a less chance of separating the 3 sections of hair. So basically, you don't want to split 3 sections of hair into 6 sections of hair, because that's just going to make the hair more poofy than it is going to be more sleek, unless you like the separated look of the twist out or braid out. But that's just my preference. But you want to try not to separate the 3 sections of hair, or the 3 strands as some people call it, of hair. You don't want to separate that. And when you have the cornrow, you just have a higher risk of separating those 3 sections. So that's just why box braids might give you a better braid out, but I'm not saying that you can't have a nice braid out with cornrows. Otherwise I wouldn't be doing a cornrow braid out. So thank you everyone for watching, and have a good night.